From the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex, this is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal. As always, before we go any further, if you haven't done so yet, please get down there in that corner, down there, and smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much. Baseball's annual winter meetings in Dallas have concluded. I suppose maybe the biggest transaction of the entire week was made late this afternoon when it was announced that the Houston Astros have traded outfielder Kyle Tucker to the Chicago Cubs in a multiplayer deal. Cub fans are doing cartwheels over this. I wouldn't. If they think Kyle Tucker is going to take them to the promised land, I'm sorry, that's just not happening. But then a couple of weeks ago, they signed Matthew Boyd to a 2-year, $30 million deal. So, big goings on there. The Tigers are done. They made their big move for the offseason, signing Alex Cobb to a 1-year, $15 million deal. I think they're all done. I'm not going to do any more. There was last couple of days, they've been rumored to have been in talks with one of Scott Boras's clients, if you will, Alex Bregman. Maybe he would be reunited with his old manager, A.J. Hinch. Bregman got an offer a while back from his old team, the Astros, something like for $156 million. I'm not sure how many years that was for. They turned that down. Look, he is as I said, a Scott Boras client. And the pattern the last few years for Boras clients is they don't do anything this time of year. They wait until the spring. I can want to look at Matt Chapman last year, did not sign until maybe halfway through spring training. He signed with the Giants. Scott Boras clients, the pattern for them, as I said, had been to sign just before the season starts. That's what they're. And quite frankly, I think the owners and the GMs in Major League Baseball are getting pretty sick of Scott Boras's act. I think he's bad for baseball. Good for his clients, but he's bad for baseball. All I got to say about that. Tigers apparently, Scott Harris said they did put in a bid on this Japanese pitcher, Sasaki. Don't hold your breath on that. And I guess they're kicking the tires too on Arizona Diamondbacks first baseman Christian Walker. I don't know anything come of that. They've done their big thing for the season. Okay, they signed Alex Cobb. That's their one big transaction. They think they're going to compete every year now for a playoff spot. As I said last time we were on, you're never going to see what happened last year. You'll never see that again. Just isn't going to happen. Nuts, crazy. Nothing like that has ever happened before. It'll never happen again. I can promise you that. I can assure you of that. So anyway, can they make a trade between now and the start of spring training? Yeah, that's possible too. I don't look for it. I really don't. Like I said, they made their one big transaction in signing Cobb, and that's about it. There wasn't really a lot of activity this week in Dallas. So this deal that came down today was probably the biggest transaction of the week. I said Tucker is now a Chicago Cub. So that's about it for baseball in their winter meetings. They've come to an end today. Quickly, Red Wings and Pistons both got clobbered last night. I'm not going to tell you what their records are anymore. It doesn't mean a whole lot. Red Wings lost 4-1 in Philadelphia. Flyers had one shorthanded goal and 2 empty net goals. You're going to hear me every time I come on here, call for Derek Lalone and Steve Heisman to both be dismissed. As long as those two guys are there, they're going to make the playoffs. Pistons, maybe the game the other night last week in New York was an aberration because they were never in the game last night at Boston. It was a complete blowout. Doesn't matter what the final score was. I think they lost by 20, 22 or 23 points, and the game wasn't really that close. There were times they trailed by more than 30 points. It's sad what we have to look forward to here in the wintertime with the Pistons and the Red Wings. It really is. Hang on just a second. Michigan doesn't play until next Wednesday at the Chrysler Center. I think they're playing Oklahoma. Spartans don't play basketball again until Tuesday night when they entertain Oakland University. Before we get into the Heisman, I guess you're caught up on a few odds and ends here. That game last night, Rams 6, 49. I'm sorry, Rams 12, 49ers 6. Obviously, the first game, boy, pardon me. Obviously, the first game this year in which we did not have a touchdown. Little frog in the throat here. Hang on, I don't know what's going on here. Apologize for this. Need to drink a little more whiskey and honey, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that game last night, of course, it was playing in a downpour most of the time. It was raining in Santa Clara. Final score, Rams 12, 49ers 6. Well, that was a real, especially the Rams coming off the game on Sunday, which saw them score 44 points in a track meet against the Bills. I really, the 49ers are what, they're 6-8 now. The Rams are still in this thing at 8-6. 49ers are pretty much done. With 3 games left, they have a shot to finish 9-8, but that's not going to happen. They got to play the Lions yet. Down year for the 49ers. A lot of injuries to a lot of key players, and it just wasn't their year. As for last night, I'm sure the weather had a lot to do with the final score and the fact that there were no touchdowns in the game. So, Jalen Milroe, Alabama quarterback, has announced that he will not be declaring for the NFL draft. He's coming back to Alabama next year, I think, which is a wise choice. And he will be playing against Michigan on New Year's Eve in the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa. Bowl season gets underway tomorrow night as Western Michigan is playing Southern Alabama in the IS-4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. The IS-4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Western Michigan will play Southern Alabama, and that game will be on ESPN tomorrow night immediately after the Heisman Trophy Awards ceremony. We'll talk about that in just a bit here. Lions season ticket prices have gone up again. Before we start talking about that, let me get my sponsorship obligation out of the way here, and then we'll get into that. Colder winter is here. It's here. It has been here the last couple of days. It will be warming up for a few days, but it's winter. It sure feels like winter anyway. Where am I going here? Well, with the colder winter here, if you haven't done so yet, you want to get into the service department of Beck Chevrolet ASAP, because now is the time to make an appointment with them to make sure your vehicle, if you haven't done so yet, is ready for the winter weather ahead. Let them check the strength of your battery, your belts, hoses, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Plus, now is the perfect time to get that new set of tires so you don't go slipping and sliding down the highway. And if you don't think your car will make it through another rough Michigan winter, let the sales pros at Beck's help you find a vehicle for all seasons. 2025s are rolling in every day out of the lot right now, so their selection is tops. And you can check out their inventory on their webpage at frankbigchevy.com, or better yet, stop by the dealership on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville and let them help you experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. So, Lion season ticket prices have gone up again. We are being told anywhere from 10 to 30%. Season ticket holders are irate over this. You can't blame them. Team President Rod Wood says this latest hike puts them pretty much on a par with everybody else. They're pretty much in the average for what a season ticket costs now. Quite frankly, if you're a season ticket holder, I find it hard to have a lot of sympathy with you when you have people out there living paycheck to paycheck, having to choose between rent and food or food and medicine. I find it hard to sympathize with anybody that can afford to be a Lion season ticket holder. You've got my sympathy, but I mean, you have to understand that this is the price you pay for success. And hey, Lions are in demand right now. Everybody wants to watch the Lions. So, and if they win the Super Bowl, it's going to go up again dramatically next year. You can take that to the bank. Someone asked Dan Campbell about it, and he simply said he coaches the team. He's not in marketing, which I think was a good response. Rich Rodriguez is returning to West Virginia as the head coach. If you haven't heard by now, you know Bill Belichick is the new head coach at the University of North Carolina. In their addressing the media today, Lion offensive coordinator Ben Johnson said he was never contacted or never had any conversation at all with North Carolina in regard to that head coach's job, because that is his alma mater. He didn't say whether or not he was never contacted, but never had any discussion with North Carolina regarding that job. I think they were looking at Belichick the whole way through the process. Interesting to see who's going to be on his staff down there. If he brings his son, who is currently on the staff at Washington, to Chapel Hill, which it's in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and right now they're calling it Chapel Bill. I'm already getting sick of Chapel Bill, North Carolina. So yeah, 10 to 30% on these season ticket prices for the Lions. I guess I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. Look, if you want to drop them, go ahead and drop them. It's my understanding they've got more than 20,000 people on the waiting list. But like I said, if you can afford season ticket prices and spend all the money you spend going to these Lions games, when there's people out there having a tough time trying to make ends meet, I find it hard to have any sympathy for you folks. I hope I'm not coming off as too hard on that, but that's simply the way I look at it. To me, it's one of life's luxuries, being a season ticket holder for any sporting event or any sport. Heisman, before we get into that, too, a quick capsule or summarizing the Lions hospital list, if you will. Looks like everybody will be on deck for the game on Sunday, except for linebacker Trevor Nowatzki. He's still in concussion protocol. They get everybody else back. Decker will be starting again at left tackle. They get their defensive lineman back. Onwuzurike and Pascal, DJ Reader, Lee McNeil, and as I said, Decker will be back starting at left tackle. So they're in pretty good shape. The Bills, on the other hand, have a banged up secondary, including it was announced today that Russell Douglas, one of their quarterbacks, has already been ruled out of the game. And they got a couple other that are questionable. They're banged up right now. But as I said earlier, I think their defense might have gotten exposed against the Rams. That doesn't mean that look, this game Sunday still to me looks like a track meet. One thing you got to remember. One major stat right now is the Bills are plus 17 in turnover differential this year. Plus 17, that's the best of the NFL. I think the Lions are plus 8. That would be what, fifth? Bottom line is, if the Lions don't turn the ball over Sunday, I don't think they have much of a problem winning, as some people do. No, I'm not saying it won't be a good game, but no. Anyway, the final score on that, I've got the Lions 41, the Bills 37. And last time I looked, they were 3-point favorites, so that means they will cover. Again, I don't bet, but I'm picking the Lions to cover on Sunday. Lions 41, Bills 37. That's my prediction for a score. Is that all we want to say about this game? And then, if looking at your TV schedule for Sunday, the three featured games for Sunday, of course, are the Lions and Bills at 4:20. Simultaneously, you've got the Steelers and the Eagles. That's on Fox. We won't get that game. We only get one game on Fox this Sunday. There will be a doubleheader on CBS. I don't know what the 1 o'clock game will be, but obviously the 4:20 game will be the Bills and Lions. The other attractive game for this weekend is Sunday night, Packers at Seahawks. I think the Packers win that game. I really do. I think the Packers win. Seahawks, it's an important game for both teams. Seahawks have been playing better of late, but I think the Packers find a way to get that done. I then think the following week, who do they play the following week after that? I don't have their schedule here right now, but Minnesota plays the Bears on Monday night. And again, there will be two Monday night games simultaneously. One on ABC, that's the Bears and Vikings. Right now, I couldn't tell you who's playing on ESPN, but I don't know what the purpose of that is either. That's something they started this year. They don't do it every week. But they do it every 3 or 4 weeks. 2 games on Monday night, as opposed to just one. And I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose is behind it. But anyway, we do not have an attractive game, I don't think, for 1 o'clock in the 1 o'clock time slot this Sunday. And I don't know what games we're getting locally here either. So anyhow, before we wrap this up talking about the Heisman Trophy Awards tomorrow night, a good word for a good man, as you know, if you've been watching my show on a fairly regular basis. Without his technical assistance and patience and kindness, we wouldn't be able to do this. That would be Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale, 37 Waldron Street. That's a couple hundred feet west of Howell Street. Any technical needs or issues, sales, service at all, this is the guy you want to see in our area, and we are so lucky to have him here with us. Tim Lindley, Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale, anything at all. Computers new or used. Maybe the computer you have now needs a little work done on it. Flat screen TV, mounting, programming setup. Maybe you're changing internet providers. You need that installed. Printers new or used, anything at all. This is the guy you want to see. There's no one else around here. This guy, Tim Lindley, Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale, 37 Waldron Street, a couple hundred feet west of Howell. 517-610-5372, or better still, get in there and see him at 37 Waldron Street, across the street from Fat Jack's Automotive. But when you get in there, tell him me and Mickey sent you. Will you please? Thank you. By the way, I mentioned the season ticket prices. Rod Wood, Lion president, said with this hike will put them pretty much on par or average with the rest of the league as far as season ticket prices goes. I have not had time to go into that or look at that or do my due diligence on that, but that's simply what he said. I'll have to take his word for it for now until I can research that a little bit more. But Heisman Trophy tomorrow night on ESPN. The 90th annual Heisman Trophy Awards. They started this in 1935. The New York City Downtown Athletic Club that's no longer held there. Where's it held now? The Lincoln Center or something like that. I don't even know where they hold the awards now. They've been moving around a lot the past few years. Used to be every year the Downtown Athletic Club in New York hosted the event. Obviously, they don't do that anymore. But the 90th annual Heisman Trophy Awards. Who are the finalists? Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Colorado two-way player, quarterback and wide receiver Travis Hunter. Boise State running back Ashton Sheety. Cam Ward, quarterback, University of Miami. The last time a running back won the award, I think you got to go back to 2015. That would be, the 2015 would have been the last year a running back won the Heisman Trophy. And that would be the Alabama running back, Derrick Henry. I knew it would come to me eventually. Who, of course, who's playing now for the Baltimore Ravens. Is still running well, by the way. By the way, I neglected to mention, too, there will be a game in the NFL next year in Berlin. The NFL has played a game every year in Frankfurt, but they never played in Berlin. And apparently the word is the Lions could be one of those teams playing in that game in Berlin next year. And if they do, it will be a home game for the Lions. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Anyway, that's the word that's kind of leaked out. The Lions will be playing in Berlin next year. That's something to look forward to. How many Lion fans will be there? By the way, if you're Lions only have 2 road games left, and they've been well represented in every road game this year. If you're thinking of going to Chicago, making the 2 or 3 drive down 80, 90 west to Soldier Field on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, the weather right now for a week from Sunday on December 22nd, it will be dry and it will be sunny, but it will be cold. The predicted high that day is 27 degrees with a low of 24. I don't know what the wind is going to be that day either, but if you're going to that game, you better bundle up and be prepared to, dress properly, because you won't be at Ford Field. That'll be outside in the elements. I don't think the sun will be much help that day either. Who knows how windy it's going to be. 27 degrees. And I mean, that's 9 or 10 days ahead of us. The forecast could change, but normally not on the temperature side of it. It will be sunny, but in case you had any plans on going to Soldier Field. But getting back to the Heisman Awards, I think the favorites right now look to be Travis Hunter, the two-way player from Colorado, the quarterback / wide receiver, and the running back from Boise State, Ashton Sheety, who has come pretty close to breaking Barry Sanders' rushing records at Oklahoma State. In fact, he's the one I'm picking. Again, I don't know what the odds are of these guys either, but I'm predicting that Ashton Sheety, the running back from Boise State, will win the Heisman tomorrow night. You have to tune into ESPN at 8 o'clock tomorrow night to find out. That will be their segue. The Heisman Awards will be the segue into the bowl game tomorrow night. The IS-4S Salute to Veterans Bowl in where are they playing that game? They're playing Southern Alabama, and the game will be in Mobile, I believe. in Mobile, Alabama. I think they're playing in Mobile tomorrow night. Anyway, so the Heisman Trophy Awards, as we kick off the bowl season after that at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, Western Michigan plays Southern Alabama in the IS4S Salute the Veterans Bowl. I forget, that was formerly something else. I forget what that was. Anyway, we got you caught up on everything here. We'll come on Monday night and do a complete synopsis of the game on Sunday. Hopefully, at that time, the Lions are 13-1 with 3 games left. But it will be a. Let's hope it's going to be a good weekend. Don't forget the Army-Navy game tomorrow too. I'm not really sure what time that comes on before the Heisman Awards. You've got the Heisman Awards at 8 o'clock. Before that, you've got the Army-Navy game. I think is on CBS. After the Heisman game, you've got the one more time the IS4S Salute the Veterans Bowl on ESPN. As we kick off the bowl season, they keep adding more bowl games every year. There are at least 3 or 4 dozen. I forget. I come on Monday night. I'll tell you who's playing at in the bowl game at Ford Field. I think it's 2 Mid-American schools clashing. I'm not sure. Who cares anymore, right? There's so many bowl games going on now. It used to be. Maybe I'm dating myself. It used to be when I was growing up. There were only 4 bowl games all year. They were all played on New Year's Day. I think it started out with the Cotton Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and you had the Rose Bowl, and the last game of the day was the Orange Bowl at night, and that was it. It's not that way anymore. So that's going to do it. Don't forget, tomorrow morning from 9 to 10 here locally on WCSR 92.1 FM, Time Out with Andy Brown. I will talk to you again on Monday. So until then, please treat each other with respect. Have a good rest of your weekend. And as usual, as always, thanks for listening. So long, everybody.